Hello everyone, and welcome to the annual meeting for the shareholders of SmartEye. It's that time of the year again, and normally I would have been standing here in front of many of you who would have taken the pain to come to Gothenburg and visit the meeting. But today the place where we're having the meeting is completely empty. And we are having a virtual CEO speech for the meeting. Of course, this is because of coronavirus that is affecting us all, and we are practicing social distancing to the greatest extent possible. And we are doing what we can to keep the virus at bay. So, having said that, I would like to talk a little bit about 2019, because that's why we are here in the annual meeting. We are going to summarize 2019, what happened, and what went well, and so on. And for SmartEye, we are now more than 20-year-old company, and 2019 was by far the most amazing year for us. We saw the result of many years hard work in 2019, where large portions of the automotive industry choose to use SmartEye's software in the upcoming car models. We had design wins like never before in 2019. Not only did we have design wins when it comes to the premium segment like previously, but now we also had design wins from the, let's call it the mid-level segment, the mid-sized car, the really high volume cars. And this is quite amazing. We secured car models from Korea, from Japan, from 2 different car brands. We also secured from Europe, the mass market manufacturers in Europe, and we also secured more premium segment design wins. This is a very positive development, which we have also seen is continuing up until 2020. So this year, after the time of the annual report, so to say, we have also continued to have more design wins with premium car manufacturers and also the mid-level segment cars with really high volumes. So why is this happening now, one could ask. And the reason is very much that we are going through a transformation. There's a transformation in the automotive industry where accidents and both lethal and non-lethal accidents, they used to be considered to be inevitable, and all you could do was that you could mitigate the effects of an accident or a crash. So that's why you had a huge development in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s in terms of passive safety. So the cars, first they got seat belts that got better and better, and then they got airbags that got better and better, and many airbags in each car had several different airbags installed. And this is something which really makes the effect of a crash much less severe, and it has saved countless lives and made driving much safer. But the revolution that we are right now in, since the early 2010s, is that we are actively preventing crashes. First of all, by keeping track of things outside of the car. You're using radar and camera and so on to keep track of accidents, or not accidents, but you keep track of dangerous situations and so on around the car. But also the new sensors which SmartEye is part of is that we are keeping track of the driver. So the driver is in itself could be a risk if there is, for example, that the driver is very drowsy and starting to fall asleep, or very inattentive, looking at the mobile phone instead of looking at the road, for example. That's a classic mistake to make, which is not okay. And tomorrow's cars are going to be able to prevent this. So they actively keep track on the outside and the inside of the car. And SmartEye is a very, very important part here, because we make that core software that calculates and do the heavy lifting, the image processing to analyze the driver. And we have now European legislation coming into place, and we also expect there to be legislation in other parts of the world which are going to promote this kind of new safety technology. There is also an organization called Euro NCAP, and the Euro NCAP has its there are similar organizations around the globe, in Japan and China and the US and so on. But in Europe, in Euro NCAP, we are starting to see that the car makers, they are going to get points for driver monitoring already from 2022, with a more substantial, with more points being awarded from after that. So it's going to be more and more important to have a good driver monitoring system in the cars for the car makers if they want a high rating from Euro NCAP. So this means that both legislation and these voluntary industry organizations, they are promoting this technology. This means that even though times are not so good with regards to Corona and with regards to a natural recession in all countries affected by Corona, but even though this is happening, we are not seeing any decrease in demand for our products. So we see instead that the demand for driver monitoring and active safety from the automotive industry is ever increasing, and we expect there to be a quick transition during the 2020s where virtually all car makers and all car brands and most car models are going to have these kind of systems installed before the end of the 2020s. So we see a great underlying growth in demand for our products, and even though times are difficult right now for everyone, I mean, we at SmartEye, we are working from home instead of sitting in the office, and I think it's the same in most parts of the world right now. But in spite of these, let's say, difficult times, we see a strong demand for our products, and we are actually quite optimistic about the future. Of course, we need to get out on the other side of this pandemic, and we need to get into some sort of normal state again, whatever that normal state is. We don't know it right now, but we will learn, I think, in the not too distant future. So things are looking very good for SmartEye, and right now I've talked mostly about automotive solutions, which is our, let's say, biggest and for the moment most important business unit. But we also started during 2019. We also started an aftermarket business unit, which are called artificial intelligence systems, which is going to package the great SmartEye algorithm in a hardware, and this hardware is going to be marketed and promoted towards the aftermarket customers, such as truck fleets, bus fleets, taxis, these kind of customers. And when it comes to that, we see a great demand for this kind of products. It's led by China right now, so the biggest demand is coming from China. And we are planning to have these products and start market them by the end of this year or next year, early next year. We also have the research instrument business unit. That's how it all started. Our first products that we started to sell in the early 2000s, they were the research products. It's sold and marketed to researchers at universities and so on around the world. And also Research Instruments is seeing an increase in demand for its product. 2019 was a little bit slower year. I would say it's a year where we sort of went through and looked at our strategies and product portfolio for Research Instrument, and we are seeing that we have some opportunities there with new exciting products that we are launching in 2020 when it comes to Research Instruments. And the first such product in the new product line is actually launched very recently. It's called AIX, and it's a bar tracker for usability studies and let's say screen measurement studies. So that's a little bit about the year that has passed. It was a great year. We went into 2020 with great momentum, and now we are seeing that everything is put a little bit on a hold due to the coronavirus situation. But we are biding our time. We are preparing ourselves. We know that there will be something coming after Corona, and we are going to be ready for that. And I sincerely hope that when we go into next year's annual shareholders meeting, about this time in 2021, I hope to meet as many of you as possible here in Gothenburg. You're most welcome, and we will gladly meet with you, and we will take care of you and show you around here in the conjunction with next year's shareholders meeting. So until then, stay safe everyone, and thank you very much.